Welcome back to Year of Profit, the podcast where we talk about personal growth, financial freedom, mindset, and the habits that separate people who drift through life from those who deliberately design it. I'm your host, and today we're talking about healing through storytelling, rewriting your past to reclaim your future. Let me ask you something. What if the story you've been telling yourself about your life is the very thing keeping you stuck, not your past? Not what happened to you, not the pain, the failure, the betrayal, but the story you built around it. Because here's the truth most people never realize. Two people can go through the exact same experience. One becomes broken by it, and the other becomes unstoppable. Same event, different story. And today, we're going to talk about something that might just change everything for you. Healing through storytelling. Not journaling for the sake of venting, not pretending things didn't hurt, not positive thinking your way out of reality. I'm talking about reframing your life story so that your pain becomes power. Because whether you realize it or not, you are already telling a story every day. I'm not good with money. I always mess things up. People always leave. I had a rough start, so I'm behind. That's a story. And stories shape identity. Identity shapes decisions. And decisions shape your entire life. So if the story is broken, the life becomes limited. But here's the powerful part. Stories can be rewritten, not the facts, not the events, but the meaning. And when you change the meaning, you change everything. Today we're going to walk through why your brain is wired for storytelling, how trauma gets locked in as a narrative, the difference between a victim story and a growth story, and most importantly, how to rewrite your story in a way that creates power, clarity, and profit in your life. Because this isn't just about healing, it's about becoming the kind of person who uses everything that happened to them as fuel. Segment 1. Why your brain runs on stories. Let's go deeper into something most people never stop to think about. Your brain is not a data storage system. It's a storytelling machine. You don't remember your life like a hard drive. Facts, numbers, timestamps. You remember it like a movie. There's a beginning, there's conflict, there's emotion, and most importantly, there's meaning. Every experience you've ever had has been processed through 3 layers. What happened, what it meant, who you are because of it. And here's the part that changes everything. The what it meant piece, that's not fixed. But your brain treats it like it is, because your brain is wired for one primary job, survival. And survival depends on predictability. So once your brain creates a story, even if it's painful, even if it's limiting, even if it's flat out wrong, it will defend that story. Why? Because it's familiar, and familiar feels safe. That's why someone can live their entire life saying, I'm bad with money, I'm not confident, I always get overlooked. Not because it's objectively true, but because it's a story their brain has repeated enough times to accept as identity. And once it becomes identity, your brain starts filtering reality to prove it. You miss opportunities, you downplay wins, you highlight failures, all to stay consistent with the story. Let that sink in. The brain would rather be consistently unhappy than unpredictably empowered. That's why this conversation matters so much. Because if your life is a reflection of your internal story, then changing your story isn't just personal development, it's a complete life upgrade. Segment 2. How trauma becomes your identity. Let's talk about something deeper. Trauma. Now, when people hear that word, they often think of extreme situations. But trauma doesn't have to be dramatic to be defining. Trauma is anything that made you feel unsafe, rejected, powerless, unseen, not enough. And in those moments, especially when you're younger, your brain does something incredibly fast. It creates meaning. Not logical meaning, emotional meaning. A kid gets ignored, I'm not important. A teenager gets rejected, I'm not attractive. A business fails, I'm not cut out for this. And the problem is, those meanings don't stay attached to the event, they attach to you. So now it's no longer, I experienced failure. It becomes, I am a failure. That's the shift. That's where pain turns into identity. And once that identity is formed, your brain starts reinforcing it. You'll unconsciously avoid situations that challenge it, recreate situations that confirm it, interpret neutral events through it. This is why people repeat patterns, not because they want to, but because their story demands consistency. Here's a powerful truth. You didn't just go through something, you became someone because of it. And if that someone was shaped in pain, fear, or limitation, it's worth asking, is that still who you want to be? Segment 3, the hidden cost of your current story. Let's bring this into your real, everyday life, because your story isn't just sitting in your head quietly, it's actively shaping your results. Your story determines how much money you allow yourself to make, what opportunities you go after, how you show up in relationships, how you handle risk, pressure, and growth. If your story says, "I'm not good with money," you'll hesitate to invest. You'll undercharge. You'll avoid learning financial skills. If your story says, "I always mess things up," you'll second guess yourself. You'll quit early. You'll sabotage momentum. And here's the wild part. Most people think these behaviors are personality traits. They're not. They're story protection mechanisms. You're not playing small because you lack potential. You're playing small because your story requires it. Because if you suddenly started winning, earning more, becoming confident, it would contradict the identity your brain is trying to maintain. So what happens? Self-sabotage. Not because you're broken, but because your story is outdated. Your life will always rise or fall to match the story you believe about yourself. The shift from victim to author. This is the turning point. This is where everything changes. If you're willing to take ownership, there are 2 ways to live your life: as the character or as the author. The character asks, "Why did this happen to me?" The author asks, "What can I do with this?" The character focuses on pain. The author focuses on purpose. Now, let me be clear. This is not about dismissing what happened. Pain is real. Experiences matter. But staying in the victim perspective keeps you stuck in reaction mode. Becoming the author puts you in creation mode. Let's reframe. Instead of, "I went through something terrible," ask, "What did this experience build in me?" Resilience, awareness, strength, empathy, drive. Because here's the truth. Some of the strongest, most successful people you've ever seen were shaped by adversity, not in spite of it, but because of it. And the difference wasn't the event, it was the story. You don't heal by erasing your past, you heal by redefining its role in your life. Segment 5, how to rewrite your story, step by step. Now let's get practical. Step 1, identify the story. Ask yourself, what's the sentence I keep repeating about myself? I'm not disciplined, I'm always behind, I don't follow through. Write it down. Step 2, find the origin. When did you first feel this? Go back. Was it a moment, a pattern, a person? You're not looking to blame, you're looking to understand. Step 3, separate facts from meaning. This is huge. What actually happened? Then ask, what did I decide that meant about me? Example, fact, a business failed. Meaning, I'm not capable. Those are not the same thing. Have step 4, rewrite the meaning. Now you take your power back. Ask, what's another way to interpret this? I failed. I gained experience most people avoid. I was rejected. I was redirected to something better. I struggled. I built resilience most people don't have. Step 5, create a new identity statement. This is your new story. I am someone who learns quickly. I am someone who adapts and grows. I am someone who finishes what I start. Repeat it, live it, prove it, because identity is built through repetition and evidence. Segment 6. There's something powerful that happens when you stop thinking your story and start saying it. When you speak your story out loud, you organize your thoughts, hear your own patterns, take ownership of your narrative. This is why therapy works. This is why podcasting works. This is why even talking to a friend can be healing, because silence keeps stories tangled. Expression brings clarity. Try this. Record yourself telling your story. Not the old version, the rewritten version. Say it like it's real. Say it like you believe it, because the more you hear it, the more your brain accepts it. You don't just rewrite your story on paper, you reinforce it through expression. Turning your story into power and profit. Now let's bring it back to Year of Profit, because this isn't just about healing, it's about leverage. Your story is not just personal, it's valuable. Think about it. People connect with stories. They trust stories. They buy into stories. Your struggles, your lessons, your growth, that's content. That's connection. That's opportunity. You can turn your story into a podcast, coaching, content, courses, a brand. The things you've been through, Someone else is going through them right now, and they need someone who understands. Your past might be the thing that qualifies you the most. Segment 8, closing reflection. Let's slow this down. Take a breath. Think of one moment in your life that was painful, something that shaped you. Now ask yourself, what did this teach me? What strength came from this? How did this change me in a way that made me stronger? And here's the question that might shift everything. What if this wasn't the thing that broke you, but the thing that built you? Because maybe nothing was wasted. Not the pain, not the confusion, not the setbacks. Maybe it was all part of the process of becoming who you are now. If you take anything from today, let it be this. You are not stuck because of your past. You're stuck because of the story you've attached to it. And the moment you realize that, you also realize something incredibly powerful. You've been holding the pen this entire time. Not life, not other people, not your circumstances, you. And yeah, maybe at some point in your life, you didn't know that. Maybe you were just reacting, surviving, trying to make sense of things that didn't feel fair. But now you know. And once you know, you have a responsibility to yourself, to your future, to stop telling the story that keeps you small and start telling the one that moves you forward. Because your life is not just a collection of events, it's a narrative. And narratives can be rewritten. So here's what I want you to do after this episode. Take 10 minutes. Write down your old story. Be honest. Be real. Get it out. Then write a new version. Same events, different meaning, different identity, different future. And don't just write it once. Read it. Say it. Live it. Because the more you step into that new story, the more real it becomes. And one day you're going to look back and realize the thing you thought was holding you back was actually the foundation of everything you built. That's the shift. That's the power. That's how you turn your past into profit. This is Year of Profit, where growth is intentional and success is built, one decision at a time. I'm AI Annabelle. Hit subscribe, tell a friend about the show, and keep moving forward. Your next level is waiting.